Most men have no idea how powerful they could become if they learned how to control themselves. Because the truth is this: a man's greatest battle has never been with other men, with society, or with women. His greatest battle has always been with his own impulses. Look around at the world today. Most men are slaves to their desires. Lust controls them, boredom controls them, their phone controls them, their loneliness controls them, pleasure controls them. And a man who is controlled by his impulses will never control his future. Semen retention at its core isn't a magic trick. It isn't a superpower. It isn't a shortcut. It's a symbol of discipline, self-respect, and mental strength. It means a man is no longer ruled by temporary desire. It means he has the ability to say no to himself. And the moment a man can say no to himself, he becomes dangerous, not because he hurts others, but because nothing can control him anymore. Most men don't realize how much of their life they're trading away every time they give in to their urges. They lose ambition, they lose drive, they lose confidence, because pleasure takes away the hunger that builds great men. When you practice retention, not for superstition or science, but for discipline, you start to see your mind differently. Your focus becomes sharper, your confidence rises, your presence becomes stronger. You walk into a room and people feel something different: calm, control, and power. Not because you're pretending, but because you're no longer owned by your desires. Most men live like boys in grown bodies, constantly escaping into pleasure, running from reality, numbing their mind so they don't have to face who they are becoming. But the man who practices self-control is forced to face himself, and that's where real growth begins. Semen retention is not about punishing yourself, it's about building yourself. It teaches you how to direct your energy into your goals, your body, your money, your mission, your future. A man who can control his desires can control his habits, his decisions, and eventually his life. And when you gain that level of control, everything changes. You stop chasing women and start chasing purpose. You stop needing attention and start commanding respect. You stop acting like a starving animal and start acting like a man who knows his value. Women feel it immediately. Not because of retention itself, but because discipline is attractive, self-control is attractive, focus is attractive. A man who is not desperate is attractive. When your mind is clear and your confidence rises, you stop trying to impress people, and strangely, that is when people become more impressed by you. When a man practices discipline, his voice gets calmer, his eye contact gets stronger, his body language becomes more grounded, his presence becomes heavier, not from ego, but from control. And this scares weak men, because weak men want excuses. They want to blame women, society, genetics, or stress. Strong men don't look for excuses. Strong men look for responsibility. They say, if I can't control myself, I can't control anything. And that is why semen retention builds something deeper than confidence. It builds identity. Most men don't respect themselves because they know they have no self-control. They make promises to themselves and break them. They say, this is the last time, and repeat the cycle tomorrow. They talk about discipline, but can't handle one uncomfortable feeling. When a man finally takes control of his desires, he becomes someone he respects. And when a man respects himself, the world starts respecting him too. His standards change, his boundaries change, his goals change, his habits change. He stops giving time to people who waste it. He stops entertaining women who drain him. He stops living like a victim and starts living like a leader. And right now, if you were listening to this, and you know you've been giving away your energy too easily, if you feel tired, unfocused, empty, or disappointed in yourself, then this is your sign to take your power back. Semen retention is not about avoiding women. It's not about hating anyone. It's not about thinking you're superior. It is about becoming a man who is not controlled by lust, not controlled by loneliness, not controlled by temptation. It's about becoming a man who chooses discipline even when nobody is watching. The world is full of men who cannot control themselves. That is why the world has so few leaders. But the man who conquers himself becomes unstoppable. And right here, right now, I want you to drop a comment saying, "I will control myself," because a man who can control himself becomes a man the world cannot control. The real transformation begins when you stop talking about discipline and actually live it, because most men say they want to be stronger, but they never leave their comfort zone. Most men say they want a better life, but they never change their habits. Most men say they want respect, but keep acting in ways that make them invisible. And that is why semen retention becomes more than self-control. It becomes identity. It becomes the moment a man says, "I will no longer be owned by my weakness." And once you make that decision, doors start opening that you never noticed before. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because you finally have the awareness and the strength to walk through them. A man who learns to control his impulses becomes someone who can control his time, his emotions, his reactions, his anger, his decisions. And that level of control is rare in a world where everyone is addicted to something. When you stop escaping into pleasure, you are forced to face yourself, and at first it feels uncomfortable because your mind has been used to running away. But the longer you stay disciplined, the stronger you become. The more you realize how much life you wasted being a prisoner to temporary feelings. And then something powerful happens. Your hunger comes back. Your ambition returns. Your goals start calling your name again. You start waking up with a different energy, a different presence, a different mindset. Because discipline builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. You start training harder, working smarter, thinking clearer, simply because you are finally operating with a full battery instead of a drained one. People around you don't know what changed, but they can feel it. Your voice has weight, your presence has gravity, your eye contact has depth, and most importantly, you respect yourself. A man who respects himself automatically raises his standards, and when your standards rise, your life rises. You stop wasting your time on fake friends, meaningless talking stages, or empty entertainment. You stop chasing women who don't value you. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't listen. You stop living for approval and start living with intention. And women feel this shift immediately, not because of magic, not because of retention superpowers, but because self-control turns a man into a leader, and women are naturally drawn to leaders. But the important thing is this: attraction becomes a side effect, not the mission. You stop living for attention and start living for purpose. You realize your future matters more than your impulses, your goals matter more than your feelings, and your legacy matters more than a moment of pleasure. Semen retention is not about perfection, it's about progress. Some days will be easy, some days will be difficult, but every day you choose discipline is a day you choose to become the man you were meant to be. You don't need to announce it, you don't need to brag about it. Growth speaks for itself. And one day, you'll look back and realize the man you used to be could never survive the life you're rebuilding now. So keep going, stay disciplined, stay focused, become the kind of man your younger self would be proud of and your future family will be thankful for. And if you walking this path and you know you ready to level up your mind, your body, and your life, make sure you subscribe, because this is where men become stronger, more focused, and harder to break. The journey doesn't get easier, you get stronger.